Let's talk about a theory. Not the alien pyramid-building kind, though those are entertaining in a History Channel on mute sort of way. I'm talking about a theory that shows up in conspiracy-laced Twitter threads, comment sections of vaguely alarming documentaries, and whispered across family dinner tables somewhere between dessert and an unsolicited political rant. The idea that Big Pharma is hiding cures so they can keep making money off treatments. It's a seductive idea. You've got shadowy executives in sleek boardrooms, miracle cures locked away in underground vaults, and an international effort to keep the population just sick enough to stay profitable, but not sick enough to organize. It feels like something between a James Bond movie and a Reddit rabbit hole. But the real question is any of it true? Let's break it down like your pharmacist cousin who got tired of staying quiet at Thanksgiving. First off, we need to acknowledge the obvious. Pharmaceutical companies are businesses. That part is true. They're not handing out cures for free like Oprah's favorite things. They develop medications, patent them, market them, and sell them for profit. In some cases, for huge profit. And yes, there are many chronic illnesses like high blood pressure, diabetes, arthritis, and asthma that require long-term treatment. That treatment becomes a steady revenue stream. So, at first glance, the logic feels tight. If curing a disease means ending that revenue stream, why would a profit-driven company want that? Well, here's where it gets interesting. Because despite the logic of treatment equals money, cures can be even more profitable. One of the best real-world examples is the Hepatitis C cure. For decades, Hep C was considered a long-term chronic illness. Then came a class of drugs like Sovaldi, developed by Gilead Sciences, which offered something almost unheard of in pharma, an actual cure. You'd think Gilead lost money by eliminating a chronic illness from their customer base, right? Not even close. In its first year, Sovaldi brought in over $10 billion in revenue. Yes, with a B. It was one of the most successful drug launches in history. The cure was groundbreaking. Governments paid. Insurance companies paid. Patients paid. Because when you offer people a clean bill of health, especially from a serious illness, they show up, checkbooks in hand. So, no, it's not always more profitable to not cure a disease. In many cases, curing it quickly and efficiently can be the ultimate financial win, especially when you consider that competition is fierce. If Company A decided to bury a cure to protect its treatment profits, there's nothing stopping Company B, or a university lab, or a biotech startup from developing and releasing that same cure and collecting all the money instead. Think about it. There are hundreds of companies, researchers, academic institutions, and international teams all racing toward the next breakthrough. They're not on a conference call agreeing to hide things. They're in a race. And in that race, a real marketable cure is the finish line. But let's pivot for a second. Because while the secret cure theory doesn't really hold up, it's not coming out of nowhere. People don't distrust Big Pharma just because they watched one late-night YouTube video narrated by a guy in a tinfoil hat. The industry has made some pretty untrustworthy moves. Think EpiPen price hikes. Martin Shkreli, the 5,000% drug increase scandal. And let's not forget the opioid epidemic, where misleading marketing and overprescribing led to addiction crises in entire communities. So when someone says, "I don't trust pharmaceutical companies," they're not talking science fiction. They're pointing at real history, and that history makes it a lot easier to believe the worst. But here's the thing, just because a company acts in greedy or unethical ways doesn't mean every worst-case scenario is automatically true. We can hold two truths at once, that pharma has serious ethical problems and that they're probably not hoarding miracle cures in secret bunkers guarded by biometric locks and moral bankruptcy. Now let's talk about the reality of drug development. Spoiler, it's not cheap, fast or fun. It takes 10-15 years and costs anywhere from $1–2 billion to bring one drug to market. And the odds? Brutal. For every 5,000 to 10,000 compounds tested, maybe one makes it to FDA approval. Most drugs fail somewhere in the process, often late after years of investment. That's a lot of money going into a black hole. So if a company actually did manage to create a real cure after all that time and money, you think they'd just hide it? Let it sit on a shelf like forgotten leftovers? Not a chance. They'd cash in, patent it, promote it, milk that Nobel Prize buzz for all it's worth. And again, if they didn't, somebody else would. There's no secret Slack channel where CEOs coordinate their global conspiracy to keep humanity mildly unwell. The competition is fierce, the stakes are high, and the reward for curing something like Alzheimer's, cancer, or type 1 diabetes would be massive. Not just in money, but in scientific legacy, fame, prizes, history books. Now, what about natural cures? This one's especially popular online. The idea that we already have natural substances that cure major diseases, but Big Pharma is suppressing them. You've heard the lines, "They don't want you to know turmeric cures everything," or "Cancer was cured with apricot seeds in the 60s, but they silenced the guy." Let's be clear. If turmeric, or anything natural, could be scientifically proven to cure cancer, every company in the world would be racing to isolate the compound, patent it, and sell it. That's already how many drugs are made. Penicillin came from mold. Aspirin came from willow bark. Cancer drugs like paclitaxel come from the Pacific yew tree. Nature is basically a global pharmacy, and pharmaceutical companies are already mining it like there's gold in every leaf. If a mushroom growing in your backyard could cure Alzheimer's, they wouldn't hide it. They'd sequence it, brand it, and sell it to you in a box with shiny graphics and a side effects disclaimer longer than your resume. So no, the issue isn't they're hiding it. The issue is more often, it hasn't been proven to work yet. Or it worked in mice, but not in humans. Or the compound is promising, but we haven't figured out how to deliver it safely. Drug development is hard, biology is messy, and good science takes time. Now let's take a moment to separate conspiracy from legitimate criticism. Because yes, the pharmaceutical industry has serious problems, like outrageous drug pricing, patent loopholes that block cheaper generics, political lobbying that slows regulation, research that disproportionately benefits wealthy countries, and global disparities in access to life-saving medications. These are real issues. They deserve scrutiny. They deserve reform. But none of them require a hidden vault of magical cures to be scandalous. The system is broken enough without resorting to sci-fi. So what's the final verdict? Is Big Pharma hiding cures just to make more money off treatments? No. There's no credible evidence that companies are hoarding miracle cures for major diseases. But are they profiting massively from the way the current system is set up? Yes, and that's worth talking about. Not in a conspiracy theory kind of way, but in a policy reform, access to healthcare, hold them accountable kind of way. Because at the end of the day, real change doesn't come from hunting down secrets in locked labs. It comes from transparency, regulation, public pressure, and better incentives for innovation and access. So next time someone leans in and whispers that they already cured cancer but they won't release it, you can politely respond with, "You know what's even more shocking? That people are still rationing insulin in 2025. And that's the real scandal. Not the hidden cures, but the systems that make people choose between medication and rent." If this helped clear the air around Big Pharma myths, hit that subscribe button. This channel is all about busting health myths, explaining what's real, what's hype, and what you actually need to know, without the lecture hall vibes or the conspiracy YouTube rabbit holes. Next up, we're tackling one of wellness culture's favorite buzzwords, detox. Does your body need help getting rid of toxins, or is your liver quietly handling everything while you sip overpriced kale water? Stick around and let's keep building your health knowledge, one myth-busted truth at a time.